Hello friends, this is Raj Sastry from Raj Option Trading. Today is May 15, 2022. Hope you're all doing well. In today's segment, we'll take a look at companies where insiders and institutions are buying the stock. These insiders and institutions know so much about the company. They do have a conviction the stock will go higher. That's why they're buying. So with that, let's jump in. Look, we got one company here. Amplitude. It's a software company. It has a SaaS platform. It's the number one in product analytics. Stock came tumbling down after the earnings and they had a little bit softer guidance, but insiders are buying. That could be a great one. So we'll look at companies like Amplitude where insiders are buying and institutions are buying. Let's see if it's a good time to buy these companies. With that, we'll start with a quick market update. Look at stocks with the volume, more than 500,000 shares traded, and heavy insider buying as well as high institutional buying. So let's start with a quick market update. From a market update perspective, look, we are in the extreme fear zone. This is one of my favorite time to buy quality stocks at the basement bargain price. It does not get better than this. So typically what I do when this happens, buy fundamentally good companies and hold it for a long time. In the meantime, if there is a money losing company not doing great, I typically short those or buy put options, so that way you benefit from both ways. Fundamentally good companies beaten down, buy them, and fundamentally bad companies, basically short them or buy put options. That's one of the way you can benefit from both ways. So with that, let's jump in here and get started. All right, from a market perspective, look, market is not doing great. If you look at the trend here, since right from April here, trend is down. So we got to look at the trend as we invest in. So we got to, if you're a long-term investor, keep buying slowly, buy in small chunks, keep adding to your position. And in the meantime, if you're a trader, basically trade some of these high-flying stocks, high valuation stocks, and short them or buy some put option. That works very well. If you're worried about volatility, you could do put spread, which is also great. And all the major indices, look at the trend here. Trend is down, so there is nothing to deny about it. So when the trend is down, you can play the game of playing the lower trend. So that's where a high volatility trade like selling or buying put options will come into play. We will also talk about some other high volatility option trading techniques we can utilize to benefit from the downtrend market and high volatility. And same story here. Look, Nasdaq is down and Russell is down. As you can see here, there is a small uptick in all these major indices last Friday. Keep a look on this last Friday here. There's a small uptick, but this may not last long. We still have worries about the Fed, and there is inflation, and there is geopolitical tensions, so on and so forth. So we are not out of the woods yet. And look, crude oil is going higher nicely here, and it's jumping high. Gold is down. I would venture to buy some gold at these levels here. It's a safe haven. You will do very well. And look, bonds are slightly selling off here. I could see bonds going further down here with the tapering down from Fed's. Central bank is going to sell some bond holdings. That will going to put some pressure on the bond here, and also it will make the interest rate go higher. The TNX or the interest rate can go higher. All right, let's jump in and look at the stock news on these stocks with the heavy insider and institutional buying. Look, the first stock is Amplitude here. Amplitude announced the first quarter earnings, and stock price plunged by 60% after they slashed the guidance for 2022. But company beat its own guidance and analyst estimate. It's all about the guidance. Because they slashed the guidance here, stock came tumbling down. On the positive side, look here, revenue jumped 60%, and that's a good one here. and loss was also narrower. So there is some bright news here. That's why, at these levels, given insiders are buying, you could buy some amplitude here. You could do well as you go forward. I think it's a too steep sell-off here in one day after the earnings after the earnings beat, but they slashed the guidance. And then you got Duolingo. You talk to any kid, they love Duolingo. I see a lot of people doing the Duolingo off late, but look, stock sold big time here after the earnings. I think at these levels, let it cool off slightly, but this is a good one here. They're expanding their product portfolio. This could be a good one here. I'm sure this will get beaten down in a couple days here. Then you could buy some Duolingo. And then you got iHeart. A lot of people love iHeart Media. They got nice iHeart Radio, as many of you know here. Stock is clobbered at this time. They shed $665 million from its value in just past 7 days. They report the loss. At this time, it could be okay to do some bottom fishing here, but understand fundamentally not a great company, but you could do some bottom fishing given that it's a good insider buy. And then you got Carvana. Many of you know here, Carvana looks like they missed the dealer license over the late registration and improper tags. So at this time, there is a lot of negative news baked into Carvana. So if you're a very long time holder, you could buy some Carvana. Understand fundamentally it's not a good company, but the CEO is trying to do his best. It's not quite cutting it in this in this market conditions, given it's a money losing company. But if you're looking for a small uptick here with the insider buying, institutional buying, you could venture into Carvana. Understand market does not like companies like this one, which is money losing company. And they got TPA Composite. It reports Q1 loss, missed the revenue estimate, stock down. You could look at such candidates where insiders are buying, institutions are buying. You could look at such candidates here. And then you got Affirm. Affirm, after getting clobbered relentlessly, looks like they report smaller than expected quarterly loss and stock jumps. So as this cools off slightly, you could buy some Affirm also here. Affirm could be a good one as we go forward, but understand there will be some pain along the way. That's why on a down day you could buy some Affirm. And then finally we got my favorite stocks, which is Lilly and Insight. You could buy them. Looks like they got some FDA approval here, so you could buy some Lilly as well as Insight, taking advantage of their FDA approval here. All right, now let's jump in here and look at stocks with the heavy insider buying. So when the insiders are buying their own stock, that tells you they got conviction, and that could be a turning point, especially when the stock is down. All right, look, we got the list here. Look at the insider buying here. Nice and high insider buying. These insiders are buying, they're putting their own money. At the same time, look at the institutions here. Institutions are either buying along with them or keeping quiet. That tells you institutions are not selling when the insiders are buying. That's a good story. And many of these companies, look, the top line sales growth is there. Nice sales growth in many companies, with the exception of a few here. And some companies have got positive net margin, as you can see here, and many of these are money losing companies at this time, but there are some with the positive net margin. And we also have got here both current ratio to make sure companies got enough money to meet the short-term obligations. If it is more than one, company can meet its short-term obligations without any issue. And we got debt to equity ratio. If the debt to equity ratio more than 1, that means companies got some trouble. They are leveraging too much. They got too much financial burden on their balance sheet. And then you got RSI here. When the RSI is lower, all these stocks have got, many of these have got lower RSI. I love it when the RSI or relative strength index is below 50. That tells you stock is relatively sold off here. And some of them are very well below 50. That tells you they're deeply oversold here. Could be good value to jump in. And then you got, for the folks who love options, we got here IV percentile. IV percentile tells you, is the stock volatile? If the IV percentile is very high, that means stock is very volatile. You could do some option high volatility games here, like you could probably sell a put option or buy a put spread, and there are a lot of ways you could make money by looking at the high IV percentile and RSI levels. You could employ a lot of option games here, or option strategies. That's what I do most of the time, in addition to buying these great stocks. And then you got put call ratio as well as short ratio here. Look, both of these are slightly related. When there is a high short ratio, that tells you folks are short selling this stock. Look, amplitude, very high short ratio, folks are short selling and breathing down its neck. At the same time, in the option market, folks are buying call options. That tells you in the option market, folks are betting amplitude stock will go higher. That's why they're buying more call option. So in these type of scenarios, you could see a short squeeze. Look, there's a short squeeze in the way here in 1 day, 5 day. And in some cases, look, we got stitch fix here. There's a high short ratio as well as there is a high put call ratio. That tells you, folks are buying put options and they want stock to go down. They're also shorting the stock. Same story, they want stock to go down. But in these type of scenarios, as a contrarian view, because everybody is shorting the stock and buying put option, what does stock do? Stock goes higher. Look, it's jumping 12%. Even with this low RSI, that tells you this short squeeze can continue. That's why I love watching both short ratio. That tells you, there is a high short ratio in many cases, and at the same time, look at the put call ratio. Put call ratio will tell you if the folks are buying more put options. If it is more than one, like here 3.85 and 32, that tells you folks are buying a lot of put options and they want stock to go down. That's when these stock will try to go higher and squeeze those shorts and squeeze those put option buyers. And finally, we got float here. Keep a watch on the float. If the stock has too much float, that tells you they got too much stock outstanding. It will take some time for it to clear them out and go higher. For example, we got BH. Let's see which one is this here. We got here BHG here, Bright Health. Look, BHG has got relatively high float here. That tells you it takes a while for this stock to go higher. It's got a lot of stocks outstanding with a value of $595 million. But if a stock has got low float, for example, you got amplitude and AUVI, so on and so forth, very low float, that tells you it doesn't take too much effort to for these stocks to go higher. That's why they're cruising along. Look, in 1 day, 5 day, they're going higher. And finally, if you're a long-term investor, look at 2-year and 5-year performance. If the stock has historically done well, there is a good chance it can go higher in the future also. For example, IHRT here. IHRT, even though stock is down big time right now, they missed some of the expectations. Look, in a 2-year period, it's up 100%. That tells you could take advantage of the short-term pain here. Buy some iHeartRadio. Look, it's already trying to go higher, as you can see here, and there is some hope that it will go higher. Given it's gone up in 2-year time frame, it can do it again. And then you got Carvana here, similar story here. Look, Carvana has done great in last 5-year time frame. Right now it's struggling because market conditions are not favorable for Carvana, and you could buy such names here. Given it's trying to go higher in 1 day, you could take advantage and go from there. As usual, keep a watch on the RSI here. Carvana's RSI is 27. That tells you completely sold off here. You could take advantage and buy some Carvana. Even though, look, from a net margin perspective, Carvana is not making it right now, and the overall score is also relatively low here, but there is some chance this stock can go higher too. And we got few more, as you see here. Also keep a watch on the overall score here. I love the stock to the overall score, at least greater than 40 or 50 here. We got few names. You could take advantage of such names here. And we got one more with perfect 100 score here. Insight is a $74 stock, perfect 100 out of 100. You could take advantage. And Insight's RSI is just 46. It's just getting started. You could buy such names here. And we got few with the very good overall score here. We talked about look, we got JELD here. JELD is completely sold off here. You could buy some JELD here, JELD. That's also a good one. Nice overall score here. Stock is responding in the shorter term. You could take advantage. Buy some JELD here. And we got a few more here. Look, we got Groupon. Groupon overall score is 40, which is relatively okay here, more than 30. Stock is responding here, going higher. You could take advantage. If this, in the same way, if the stock has gone up so much in one day, wait for it to cool off here. For example, you got Duolingo. The stock has gone up so much here in one day. You could let it cool off, then you could buy. And we got one more here. Stock has gone up so much in one day here. You could have them cool off here. If you're up to it, you could short them or buy put options or put spread here. But it's not everybody's cup of tea. You got to be a little bit patient and careful in such scenarios. All right, let's jump in here and look at more. The list continues here. Keep a watch on insider and institution here. Nice insider institution buy here. At the same time, keep a watch on 1 day, 5 day, how the stock is moving. If the stock is responding, many of these stocks are responding right now nicely, as you can see here. Then you could buy them slowly. At the same time, make sure RSI is below 50. That tells you stock is oversold. If stock has gone higher already, for example, you got GEOD here. Stock has gone up. Look, RSI is already 59 here. I would not put my money on these stocks here. And we got a few more with the high RSI here. I would let them go higher. I would go and bet on the lower RSI candidates. Just try and go higher in 1 day, 5 day. I would go after those. And if you're a conservative investor, look at the stocks with a little bit higher overall score, higher than say 30 or 40, you would do well. So with that, let's look at a few more here. All right, list continues here. Look, we got same scenario, very high insider and institution buy here, and keep a watch on how the stock is responding. Looks like we got nice response on these stocks here. They're going higher. At the same time, look at the RSI here. If the RSI more than 50, don't bother. The train has left the station. But if the RSI is lower, like you can see in some names here, you could put some money there and let it go higher, and you could benefit from this swing trading type opportunity. All right, so there are also keep a watch on the overall score here. Some stocks have got nice and high overall score. Look, we got one right here, Pfizer. It's one of my favorite company, nice and high score, 98, and RSI is 47. You could still buy Navient here. Pfizer, you would do very well. And we got few more with the nice overall score here. Herbalife, HLF, and stock. Look, stock has gone higher by 1.9%, and right now RSI is 36. You could take advantage of such names also. And if you're an option trader, keep a watch on the IV percentile and put call ratio. And if the IV percentile is low, you could employ the buying strategies. And if the IV percentile is high, you could look at option selling strategies or spreading strategies. All right, so I also like Perigo here. Look, PRGO here. Perigo right now RSI 60, that tells you RSI 63, that tells you not a good time to buy now. Wait for it to cool off, then you can buy. All right, so list continues. We'll take a look at stocks with a heavy institutional buying. This is when these big institutions and hedge funds, they're buying these companies. They know a lot more about these companies than retail traders like us. Look, we got the list here. Keep a watch on institution buy here. Nice and high institution buy. And keep a watch on 1 day, 5 day here. Many of these stocks are responding nicely for the institution buy. When the stock is up so much, I would not put my money. You could look at RSI to get an idea. If the RSI is over 50, for example, we got RGTI here, RSI 60, stock has gone up. Look, it's gone up so much in 1 day, 5 day. I would not put my money there. Instead, I would look at the lower RSI candidates which is responding nicely. Look, we got one more here. Dave has gone higher by 27% in one day. I would not put my money there here. Dave, on the contrary, RSI is still 35, still low. You could still go there, but typically I like to look for a small pullback before I jump in here. There are some great candidates which are already pulled back. I would put my money over there. All right, so let's jump in here and look at one more page here. Look, same story here, high institution buy. And you can also look at the short ratio. Many of these have got high short ratio. That tells you these can go higher. And we also have put call ratio. Look, stocks like Compugen here. Compugen is a $1 stock, as you can see here. Both high short ratio is 5%, and folks are buying put options like there is no tomorrow. So that tells you this stock can also go higher. It's already going higher in one day, but understand it's just a $1.93 stock, very low market cap, can be easily manipulated because there is a very relatively low float here. All right, the list continues, as you can see here, and also look at the overall score. Higher the better. I love the one with nice and high overall score. You got two here, SJT and Purple. SJT and the one before ADMA. Both of these have got high overall score here. You could take advantage and buy such names here. All right, so with that, let's look at one more list here. Look, list continues. Keep a watch on institution buy here. Nice and high institution buy, as you can see here. And stocks are also responding. Look, in 1 day, 5 days, they responded nicely. And look at the RSI. You want low RSI. And when there's a high short ratio, that tells you these stocks can squeeze those short sellers and go higher. And I typically love the stocks with nice and high overall score. More than say 30 or 40. Those are my favorites here. We got few ones with nice and high overall score here. Look, we got AEG at the top here, $5 stock, nice and high 68 overall score. Stock is responding here, and overall score is middle of the road. You could take a look at such names here. I especially like the ones with the RSI below 50. And we got few more here. We got one more right here, Growth Generation. Growth Generation is a picks and shovel play for cannabis. Look, stock is responding in 1 day time frame here, and stock is still oversold with a low RSI. You could go after such candidates here. Looks like institutions are buying. All right, so with that, let's jump in and do a conclusion. From a conclusion perspective, when the market is very volatile, be selective and go after some good stocks. And look for RSI, lower RSI, that tells you stock is sold off here. And insider and institutional buy, if there's a high institutional buy or a high insider buy, that shows the conviction. And if the stock is showing some improvement in 1 day, 5 day or 10 day, that tells you the stock can go higher. It's a turning point. And conservative traders and investors should look for positive net margin, positive free cash flow, and higher overall score, above say 40 or even 30 for that matter. And few stocks you could play this game of swing trading, given there is a high institutional and insider buy, or IHRT, JELD, JELD, SFIX, Six Flag, PFSI, Carvana, and Amplitude. Understand, it's a swing trading type opportunity. If you're a long-term investor, look for these aspects here. That will serve you very well. So with that, thank you very much. Happy investing and trading. Please subscribe.